Lisa had just moved into her new apartment, a charming, old building with creaky floorboards and high ceilings. It was perfect, aside from one peculiar detail. In her bathroom, there was a large, antique mirror mounted on the wall above the sink. It had intricate carvings on the frame, and although beautiful, there was something unnerving about it. She couldn't quite explain it, but whenever she glanced at the mirror, she felt like something was wrong, like there was an extra shadow in the reflection or a slight delay in her movements. Brushing it off as the quirks of an old mirror, she continued unpacking her things. That night, Lisa went about her usual bedtime routine. She brushed her teeth, washed her face, and went to turn off the bathroom light. As she flicked the switch, her reflection caught her eye. For a brief moment, it didn't move. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest, staring at the darkened mirror. "It's just your imagination," she whispered to herself, but the fear lingered. She quickly left the bathroom and crawled into bed, trying to shake off the eerie feeling. The next day, things got worse. Every time she looked into the mirror, something seemed off. Her reflection felt wrong. There were small differences that only she seemed to notice. Her eyes looked a shade darker, her smile slightly crooked. She told herself she was just being paranoid. But by the third night, the reflection no longer mimicked her movements. It started to lag behind, watching her with cold, dead eyes when she moved away from the sink. And then, it smiled when she didn't. Lisa's heart raced as she stared at the smiling reflection. She slowly raised her hand to touch the mirror, trembling as her fingertips met the cool glass. Her reflection remained still, grinning. Panic surged through her, and she yanked her hand back. The reflection blinked, then calmly lifted its hand to the glass, mimicking the gesture she had made just moments earlier. She bolted out of the bathroom, slamming the door shut behind her. For hours, she sat in her bedroom, terrified and clutching her phone, unsure of who to call or what to say. She wasn't ready to admit to anyone, let alone herself, that something supernatural was happening. Exhausted, she eventually drifted off into a fitful sleep. Sometime after midnight, Lisa awoke to a faint creaking sound. Her breath caught in her throat. The sound came from the bathroom. The door, which she had locked, was now slightly ajar. Slowly, she got out of bed, her bare feet making no sound on the wooden floor. She approached the door with a growing sense of dread. The light was off inside, but the moonlight filtering through the window cast an eerie glow. And there, standing in front of the mirror, was her reflection. But this time, it was outside the glass. It stood perfectly still, staring at her with that same unnerving grin. Lisa's body went cold. Her reflection slowly raised its hand, beckoning her closer. She wanted to scream, to run, but her body wouldn't obey. Suddenly, the figure lurched forward, crossing the threshold of the bathroom door. With a silent, predatory grace, it stepped out of the mirror world and into hers. The last thing Lisa saw was the reflection smiling as it reached out to touch her face. The next morning, Lisa's friends found her in the apartment. Everything was normal, except for one detail: Lisa wouldn't leave the bathroom. She stood there, staring blankly at the mirror, an eerie smile playing on her lips. But it wasn't her. It was her reflection.